High school has never been more colorful. Today on The Express. Today on The Express.
Painting's just more fun, more creative.
A new creative club. Then let the Force be with you.
She is the Jedi master of yoga.
And travel to distant lands via your taste buds.
The reason I usually go to different countries is to eat.
Go on, express yourself. The imagination runs wild on today's show. Welcome to The Express. I'm your host, Nicole Fitzgerald, and Whistler Secondary School is under siege with a creative invasion. Lunchtime has never been more fun. We're going to move from a love of art to a love of yoga, a very serious practice, well, at least most of the time.
Breathing in and out through your nostrils.
I started yoga 2 years ago. I had been quite sick for about 4 months, and when that pneumonia was all done, I needed to gain strength.
Janet Hammer's journey began here with instructor Colleen Felgate at the Solaris Wellness Spa.
She is the Jedi master of yoga.
Whistler's own Yoda helped transform this self-professed weak kitten. Now this emergency department nurse at the Whistler Healthcare Center is stronger, both in body, mind, and spirit.
When we had the Olympics, those bobsledders are really big. They're at least 6'5". They're at least 220. So, getting them undressed, it's a bit of a struggle. I'm glad I'm stronger.
Pressing your wrist down. Keep trying to push away from your feet.
It's nice to have that time for centering and for calmness and for bringing in love and compassion. It's great. I take it out to my regular work and my regular play.
So you've got this sense that you're really kind of floating here, and there's much space between each vertebrae as you can create.
Today's foundation class is opening up the building blocks of yoga, such as the sun salutation with postures flowing one to the next.
For me, it makes it this creative sort of dance. So the reason I was passionate about Ashtanga and I loved it so much is because it was a moving meditation. Connecting as you move makes you forget everything else, and then you're right in the moment and you're in your body, and that's what it should be all about. There you go, there's your freedom.
8 years of teaching, running a teacher's training school, in training in stock Pilates mat reform. This marathon runner / skier / yoga instructor gets muscles trembling. A serious practice, although Colleen likes to keep things light.
Lower your belly all the way down, or collapse it, whatever works for you.
I appreciate the fact that it's very thoughtful, but it's very funny. You don't have to take yourself too seriously, but you're challenged to grow each class.
And reach the arm bones back. Find length in the sides of the body.
One of these days, I'm going to have my tree where everybody else has their tree, and it won't fall over.
Leaving Janet with something always to look forward to at her next class. It's hard making time for yoga classes when the sun is shining. Fall is here, so it's the perfect opportunity to get limber, not to mention get creative. Creative Invasion is today's theme, and our next story is celebrating the best of the best. One top athlete with one incredible program.
Just gotta remember, dump a little bit of speed before I go in, because I'm almost losing it right at the end of it.
Practicing these corners tight and fast here in Squamish earned Miranda Miller a U.S. Open Championship win and first place at the Garbanzo Downhill at Crankworks in 2009. However, the 20-year-old pro racer has experienced rocky ground this year after breaking her leg in January.
I was training at Mount Prevost on Vancouver Island and just had kind of a freak accident sort of thing. So I broke my tib fib. I needed surgery. So they K-wired it, which was pretty gross. They shove wires in your leg, and they actually stick out of your leg.
The medical team looked after her leg while the community took care of her spirit through the Best of Squamish awareness program.
They're like the bridge between the athletes and the local businesses. For me, they hooked me up with my financial sponsor, Squamish Savings.
Displayed throughout Squamish in businesses and community facilities, the Best of Squamish posters profile local athletes such as Paralympian Matt Hallett, pro skier Sarah Burke, and gold medalist Maëlle Ricker.
Successful athletes reach a point where they do establish a brand. It's like they're building awareness of what they do and what they accomplish. In that sense, we really do help them step up their awareness level.
Everyone recognizes you. They're like, saw you on a poster above the chicken.
The program has further developed to offer financial support. So Best of Squamish has teamed up with Save On Foods to raise money that will go directly to the featured athletes, helping to cover expenses such as travel.
A great way for our customers to help support our local athletes is to donate 1,000 points of their Save On More points at the till, and we'll match a donation for $2 total.
Which is welcome help for Miranda. Now that she has recovered from her accident, she has big plans for the future.
My overall goal is to be world champion and the World Cup overall. So for 2011, to get to those goals, I aim to be a top 5 World Cup finisher as well as the Canadian national champion. Community support in Squamish is huge. It's amazing what people do for you, and there's no way I could have gotten to where I am without them.
In Squamish, I'm Jacob Gish for The Express.
If you want to help out, you can donate your Save On Foods points to Save On Foods and they will match them. Well, creativity is being matched here as imaginations go head to head with a creative invasion. Lunch has never seemed cooler in a high school. What are the kids up to today?
Well, they're doing the Creation Invasion, which is a great project put on by our youth center, local artists coming into the school, working with our art teacher, and it's just such a great way to connect our school with the community.
You can tell who drew which because my friends they both really like dinosaurs. It expresses everybody's different art abilities and what they're interested in and stuff.
And you like stars.
I like stars.
The cool part about it was there were kids that were working beside each other that maybe not are in the same classes, aren't in the same grade, and so it was a way to sort of create connections and create network of friends that you might not know.
Have you done art projects like this before?
Oh yeah. Art's going to be one of my majors in university and college.
And have you enjoyed working on a bigger collective project like this?
Yeah, actually I've never really done anything like this before, but it's pretty sweet.
I think these projects are very important for kids to see that there's alternative avenues to creativity. Outside the box, there's, much more bigger things going on that I could be a part of as opposed to, flipping through a textbook. It opens up eyes.
Kind of a cool way to hang out, here at lunch at the school?
Yeah, it's fun because you're not just sitting at a table talking.
Home Base Studios from Squamish has played a big role in this creative project. If you want to keep up to date on other events and art classes, just visit homebasestudios.ca, and we got more creative stories coming your way. Still to come, just because you haven't been to Morocco doesn't mean you can't get a taste of it.
Pretty much every country I've visited, there's a lot more communal dining.
And meet your new neighbors at Cheakamus Crossing.
What we want to build is a mini Olympic village.
Welcome back to the Creative Invasion here at Whistler Secondary School. I'm your host, Nicole Fitzgerald, and you're watching The Express. Squamish's culinary scene just got spicier. A new monthly supper club is helping you travel without ever having to leave home.
A vinaigrette, which has some garlic, some shallots, ginger, fennel seeds, and preserved lemon. All the courses are sort of inspired by different memories of Morocco for me. The first course is I spent some time in a little fishing village in the south with some green olives.
More than just an appetizer under Chef Mark Cornett's care, these plates of Dungeness crab tell a story of Tarfaya, poised in the Western Sahara in southern Morocco. Befriending local fishermen, Mark was invited back to their home, where the fresh crab they netted earlier that morning was prepared with tomato and olive, exactly how it is plated today.
Starting with a Dungeness crab salad.
The reason I usually go to different countries is to eat, so it's nice to be able to share that with everyone.
Mark's company, poignantly named SUP, which means to eat, hosts monthly dinners in both Vancouver and here in Squamish at the Cup Bistro. Guests sit at long tables, welcoming conversation even amongst strangers.
It's nice to bring everyone together and sit together and eat together. Pretty much every country I've visited, there's a lot more communal dining than in North America.
There is plenty to talk about with duck, figs, and nuts wrapped in a phyllo pastry, a dish native to Fez. And then mackerel, a memory of the Assuera fish market where seagulls flooded the skies to gorge on entrails from the fish being cleaned.
The markets there are great, so many olives and pickles and preserved lemons, so many different spices, and yeah, a lot of fun to try and figure out what things are.
The Cup Bistro is trying to make explorers out of all of us by immersing us in food culture, quite literally here at the Moroccan Feast. But in addition to these monthly themed dinners, the Cup Bistro will be hosting weekly cooking classes. Their next adventure takes us to Bangkok with Thai cooking.
I'm also doing a cooking class here on Remembrance Day.
Having traveled to Siberia, Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, Southeast Asia, and China, in between working kitchens at Lumiere Crew in Chin Chin, Mark spends as much time on an airplane as he does in a kitchen.
I'll be leaving to work in France sort of late spring, and then after that I'm going to sort of continue from Turkey and go to Iran and Pakistan and into India. Right now I'm set on Indian food.
Leaving guests' mouths watering for Mark's next culinary adventure.
Figs and prunes and almonds, and a little honey yogurt and watercress salad.
The next SUP dinner will be the end of November. The theme, mushrooms. Mark will be handpicking them himself. Well, the pickings have been plentiful today with art and yoga and mountain biking, and why not throw a little history lesson into the mix?
Travel along with us on the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip as we explore the many marvelous attractions and activities of beautiful British Columbia.
In a calm, serene corner of Burnaby with its Japanese-style gardens and impressive building is the National Nikkei Museum and Heritage Centre.
We do promote history, of course, of Japanese Canadians through heritage, arts and culture, through programming and exhibitions that reconnect generations and also inspire new audiences of diverse cultures. So we're in the Learning Centre.
Nikkei Museum has a vast collection of archives relevant to Japanese Canadian history, and there's a permanent display to educate visitors about the Japanese internment during World War II.
We have a close-up of an internment house and a cross-section of a residence that would have been typical makeshift shack for a family.
The National Nikkei Museum and Heritage Centre is a multi-million-dollar facility built thanks to the generosity of the Japanese Canadian community, whose names are commemorated on the walls. Additional funding also came from the National Redress Foundation.
Redress is the formal apology the Canadian government gave to the people of Japanese Canadian heritage for the time during the 40s when they were interned and or removed from the West Coast. So the federal government in 1988 provided some seed money that made it possible for the foundation to be laid for this center, Nikkei Place.
There is also an art museum that features various shows throughout the year.
This exhibit is the 10th anniversary inaugural museum exhibit called Kizuna, Connecting Through Generations. We have 4 contemporary artists who teamed up with 4 elders of the community and also accessed the museum archives to create their work for the show.
The Nikkei Museum's work in preservation and education becomes even more crucial every year.
It's very important as the aging generation starts to pass because we lose their stories. You've seen the children running through the halls. It's wonderful to be able to have archives and stories preserved for their futures also.
I'm Kendall Harris in Burnaby for Shaw TV.
Entertaining and informative, the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip. Weekends on Shaw TV. Always something new and exciting.
There's a lot going on at the center, including language and martial art classes, as well as Japanese tea ceremonies. A full schedule is also on the map for this next crew. After the break, staying motivated has never been easier with training facilities so near.